It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Wednesday show, May 24th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. However you are consuming Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate it. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon out today in his stead. The great Tom Mazawey.
What up, boss?
You, baby.
Hey, guys and gals in the chat. Welcome to Woodward Sports. A great day today. First of all, happy anniversary to my wife, Kathy. 25 years. More like 125 years in dog years, but we love each other. And it's all good, man. And 19 years ago today, it's Tayshaun Prince saving the bacon for the Detroit Pistons.
Unbelievable.
I know Mike Gentry was at those games. Right, Mikey?
You need audio first.
Come on, Mike.
You need audio
I thought I was unmuted. That's on me. Yeah, gotta love Tayshaun. You definitely miss those days. The Pistons were so much fun to watch, and we don't have that same luxury right now.
Hey, man. And Ryan, I know you were heavily involved as well, my friend.
No doubt about it. Love those days. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Lindsey Hunter is going to join us in a couple of minutes.
What's he know about that?
Well, I think he was on the floor or on the bench. Certainly on the team for
question.
that run. Definitely going to talk. I want to ask you, though, first, Maz, let's not bury the lead here.
No. What is it?
Tuesday night bowling. I got to hear about it.
You know what? It was a tough night. Started slow, got rolling. About towards the end of the first game, I wind up throwing the last 5 in the first game, but I only wind up with a 203. And then I throw the next 4 in the next game. So, Ryan, I had 9 strikes in a row.
Wow.
How many turkeys is that?
You had 9 strikes in a row?
How many turkeys is that?
That's 3 turkeys.
You got it, my friend.
2 4-baggers.
You got it.
Wow.
And a 1. 2 4-baggers and a 1.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wound up, I did all right. I missed too many spares, and we lost to a really good team led by my friend Joe Conflitti.
Oh, Joe Conflitti.
You know Joey?
I know Joe Conflitti. Yeah. No, I don't really, but
you would love to know him. He's a great guy.
I would love that.
Guy next to us shot a 300.
Stop it.
On the next set of lanes. The guy to the right of us, 290.
How often does that happen, Maz? I mean,
in my league, it probably happens once every few weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, we got some great bowlers in that league. One guy shot 790 for 3 games.
You kidding me?
Which is, you could do the math. It's 230 a game.
Right.
No, excuse me, 250, 270 almost a game.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Hey,
Maz, big show for you today. Lindsey Hunter coming up momentarily. Dan Miller is going to join us as well today. Looking forward to talking to Dan. OTAs out in Allen Park happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. Lots of Lions stuff to get into as well. But we do want to start with Tayshaun Prince Day. It's just something a little fun to have. Earlier in the week, Bray, sorry. Called you Bray.
Right.
My computer is out, so I'm a little...
we got to get you plugged.
I'm a little...
discombobulated.
Now,
right by your foot there, is that a plug?
It is a plug.
All right,
let's plugged in.
But it's not plugged into your computer.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it is plugged into the computer right there.
Shucks.
Yeah, I have no...
You got a bad...
I got a bad
plug.
I got a bad plug. But
we'll get that fixed for you.
Yeah, so Tayshaun Prince Day, 5/24/2004. Hard to believe, 19 years ago was when the Pistons won their last championship. You think about the 89-90 Pistons. Move it forward to 04. It felt like forever, but it was only 14, 15 years. Now here we sit 19 years out.
Wow.
No real shot to win anything anytime soon. Basketball in this city has been dead for a little while. You hope there's a little bit of a core unit that will bring this team back. But earlier in the week, we talked about Carmelo Anthony, and Carmelo Anthony retired from the NBA this week, and he talks about something that he thinks about all the time is not being drafted by the Pistons. And the Pistons gave him a promise, according to Carmelo Anthony. They promised him that they would draft him. And he said he thinks about it all the time. Would that block, would that moment have ever happened without... would that moment have ever happened, the Tayshaun Prince moment, if they drafted Carmelo Anthony?
I still think it would have. I don't know. Something tells me that everything would have worked out great. I still believe that they would have traded for Rasheed Wallace because he was a rookie. But you know what? And he, in that interview, and I heard it the other day again, I put it on Twitter and I listened to it again. It's like 3 minutes long. And he says, I would have been a different player. And remember I said that the other day? That was before I even watched that video again. He said it would have made me a different player, being with all these great veterans, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Lindsey Hunter, Tayshaun Prince. It would have made him a different player. And I believe he would have won his championship. Never got a championship. I mean, except in college. Never won a championship. That's a black mark on him.
Well, you always talk about, too, regardless of the sport, it doesn't matter when you're taken, it matters where you go.
Correct.
First pick, second pick, third pick. I'm sure, Braylon would have rather gone 5 to Miami.
For sure. For sure.
Or no, well, that would have been 2 to Miami. But
probably
Miami,
any team.
Yeah, any team other than
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Although they turned into a winning team when he got on that team. And they got to the playoffs, and then they fell on their faces after that.
Yeah, so...
then he got to go to the Jets, and the rest is history.
Hey, one thing I want to talk about in a little bit, too. I had the opportunity to talk to Calvin Johnson today.
Oh, man. On Fox?
Yeah, Calvin Johnson was at Fox 2 today. There he is. And he was having so much fun. We'll play a cut or two from the interview that I had with Calvin later today. But he had so much fun during the interview, and then it was a cooking segment, the next segment, and he wanted to come over with us. So he came with us. Take a look at this, Maz. Take a look at this. Yeah, you gotta do a little bit of a...
Get squished.
Oh.
Yes. Good job, guys.
Calvin Johnson just smashed my sandwich.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, what about me? And Ryan!
What were you eating? What kind of sandwich
so
was
it was
that?
a huge. So that was a place called Nashville, Detroit. It's Scratch Southern Cooking to Go, and they're located in White Lake. And they came in these sandwiches, these fried chicken sandwiches.
Wow.
These Southern chicken sandwiches were like stacked this high.
Jeez.
And
How
they were
good
just
were they?
sitting there, and I was like, Calvin, we got to smash this thing. And it was so good. And Jay Andrews was the guy that owns Nashville, Detroit. Calvin had so much fun. He's got a lot of personality, man.
Yeah, he does. It's coming out now.
Yeah, it is.
Now I think the gorilla is off his back as far as people asking him about the Lions and how he feels about them. He is back in the family.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yep.
Slowly but surely, the walls have broken down, and he is a full-fledged Detroit Lion again. I think it's coming.
No doubt. So
And that's tough to carry with you.
absolutely.
Because he goes to the Hall of Fame, he doesn't say a damn thing about the team he played for. That sucked.
It is coming around, and the thing with Calvin too is, we saw him with the first round draft picks. We see that he's having his football camp at the Lions Allen Park facility, so things are getting better with Calvin Johnson and the Detroit Lions. He did speak about that. We'll have that for you in just a little bit, but it's so good to see. Maz, quickly last night,
By the way, he's going to be here with us next week.
Yes, he is expected to be here. I always like to put the expected on there because until people show up.
Of course. You know me, I'm always jumping the gun.
Right, no doubt. NBA, NHL, the Boston Celtics.
How about that?
They live to see another day.
I was surprised. I was very surprised that they came out and they played their best game of the season, their best game of the playoffs right here. A huge win. I thought Miami would close it out at home. Now they got to go back to Boston. And guess what? Boston's an 8-point favorite already for tomorrow night. That's a good number. I think they cover that number.
Did
to tell
they
you
win
the
the
truth.
series?
I don't know. The last one of those stinking Boston teams did it to me back in the day in 2004. I don't even want to remember those days when the Red Sox came back and beat the curse of Babe Ruth and beat the Yankees.
You know, their manhood was challenged the other night.
Yep.
The Q word, quit, was associated with the Boston Celtics. Magic Johnson tweeting about the fact that he never thought in his lifetime that he would see ever a Boston Celtics team quit.
Yeah.
They all read it. We talk about
Yep.
reading positive press clippings. You read negative press clippings. They came to play, outscoring the Miami Heat by 23 points in the second half.
Yep.
I mean, it was a complete evisceration of the Heat in the second half.
It was a close game, about 8 points up till about 6-7 minutes to go. Then the Heat kind of said, "All right, we got 3 games already. It's time to empty the bench," and they kind of gave it away at the end. So that number at the end really wasn't indicative of the game. The game was a lot closer than that. But they go to Boston tomorrow night, and like I said, it's an 8-point game. They win that game. All of a sudden, Miami's got to be thinking, "Hey, we're an 8 seed." And like Braylon said it. Boston is twice the team that Miami is. They should be dominating this series, but they're not. So Miami, they better come out and play hard coming up tomorrow night.
No doubt. So we'll talk to Lindsey Hunter about that. There's a lot of get back to this coaching thing again, but there's a lot of news regarding these coaches, and you look at Doc Rivers now. He's a finalist for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
What does Lindsey think about all that?
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
So
and the more this goes on, I guess these coaches, I don't know what they're waiting for. They already know the draft lottery. Pistons are picking 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Pistons' job, out of all the jobs that are there, is probably the last job that they want.
No doubt. So we'll talk to Lindsey next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or order online, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com. Source cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
All right, this is so friggin' funny, okay? So, I'm totally OCD, okay? This is just what it is. I'm OCD. I like things a certain way. If those things are not that way, I'm just no good. I'm just no good. Maz, we've known each other a number of years. You know this about me.
I do.
I know this about me.
Yes, you do.
Maybe the listeners are learning this for the first time.
They might be.
Okay? Just a weird guy. That's what it comes down to. I'm just a weird guy.
I wouldn't say that.
So
Everyone's got their thing.
I got to the studio late today. So our boss, Chad Johnson, owner of Lady Jane's, owner of
Ham Roast.
Birmingham Roast, owner of Woodward Sports. He's in. I like being around the guy. We had lunch together.
Yes, we did.
We talked together.
Yes, we did.
We shared a few laughs together.
Yeah, we did.
We had a great time. I look, it's 1:59.
I tried knocking on the window.
I know, but you know what? We're having some laughs. I didn't want to be inconvenienced by the show.
Okay. Well, welcome in.
So Maz puts together a great show,
I thought so.
and we don't have time to talk at all because I'm too busy talking. Well, I get in the studio. The computer is dead. The plug is not working. My settings and scenery, just a little bit off. So now, Maz, we had Parker. Parker, come here for a minute. Just come in the middle and say hello to the people. Come here for a minute.
The people.
Just say hi to the people. Parker is going to be a part of our show. He's learning the system from JB, who's in the booth. Thanks, Parker. Very good.
All right, Parker. You can leave.
All right, Parker. Parker's great. So Parker has to run and get Maz's computer. So I could have Maz's computer that Braylon would normally have over there. And now I'm set up.
No, that's my computer from over there.
Oh,
Braylon
that's your
has his
computer.
own.
Oh, Braylon has his own.
He's got his own.
So that's your computer from there. You've
Yeah.
got yours from the office, and now I've got this one in front of me.
Correct.
So to make a long story even longer, I'm good to go now.
Good.
Yes.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
Welcome
and
in.
thank you all for being there. Really, really appreciate it.
See, you took him inside. What's going on here?
Yeah.
You took him on the inside.
Gave you an inside look at what's happening.
By the way, Bartolo Cologne's 50 years old today. Just
Get
wanted to
outta
mention that.
here.
Big Bartolo Cologne. Who don't love
What
Bartolo
made you think
Cologne?
of that?
I don't know. This thing's popping my head. You know that. I'm the human non sequitur, as they call me on the Drew and Mike show. Things just pop in my
Very
head,
good.
and I got to say it.
I'm so glad about it. All right. Steven says, is there a point to this? No
Probably
point.
not.
No, there's no point. Just giving you a little inside look.
We're waiting on Lindsey.
No, he's here.
Oh.
He's here. I
Lindsey.
apologize that. Lindsey Hunter, how are you, my friend? Part of the 04 championship team, 2 NBA championships. Lindsey, how you doing, my friend?
No.
What's that?
He's cutting in and out his V-Mix.
Okay,
on
so
his phone.
Lindsey's cutting
he's
in and
here.
out.
He's on, but he's just.
All right,
he's
Lindsey,
probably
hang
gotta-
up and call back.
Yeah.
Lindsey, hang up and
For
call
crying
back.
out loud.
Hard to believe that, one of the things we want to talk to Lindsey about is the impact that block had on the 2004 NBA championship team. Because if you'll remember, Tom Mazawey, the Pistons lost that first game to the Pacers.
Yeah, I gave you all the scores here. You got
And
the
then-
scores in front of you?
Exactly, but
78-74
I
was that
understand
first
that. I'm
game.
not talking about that. What I'm talking about, Maz, is after that loss to the Indiana Pacers in Game 1, Rasheed Wallace famously sat at his locker and said, "We will not lose Game 2. We will not lose Game 2." It looked like they were on their way to losing Game 2 before the block, and everything kind of changed at that point. Game 2 of that series was like a halftime score today.
Yeah.
72-67 was the final of that game. 72-67.
It was 69-67, and Reggie Miller had a breakaway layup, dunk, that he tried to lay up. That would have tied the game at 69. And instead, Tayshaun flew past like Superman and did his thing. I think we got the video. We could put that up for
One
you.
of the things, do you know, so there were 6 games in that series. So 6 games, 12 scores essentially, 72-67. How many times of the 12 scores did a team reach 80 points?
I'm not going to look, but I'm going to guess once.
3.
3.
The final scores in that series, 78-74, 72-67, 85-78, 83-68, 83-65, so maybe it's 4. 69-65 was the score in Game 6.
Wow. That was the closeout game at the Palace.
Would you ever want to see anything like that?
Well,
I don't.
Hey, if the Pistons are doing it and they're on the front end, Yes.
I don't remember that series, other than the block and the low scores. But I just don't remember how the games went. Lindsey Hunter back with us now. Lindsey, how you doing, my friend? Frozen. Oh, man. It's all good. It's all good. Lindsey's frozen.
Lindsey, use your phone.
It's all good, man.
Get off that computer.
JB, how you doing in there, buddy?
I'm good. I'm just hoping Lindsey would hop on here. He's on, but it's just weird. Like, he keeps freezing. I don't know. It might be his Wi-Fi or his internet. We got Parker chilling in the back here.
What's up, Parker?
Yep.
All right,
I'm gonna write Lindsey to go on his phone without Wi-Fi. Hold on.
I can't imagine in NBA today. The game has evolved so much. I can't remember. I can't even imagine those scores being like that now. I mean, if you go back and just look at the Eastern Conference Finals today and the scores that we've had so far. Last night, 116 to 99. I guess I don't need to go through all the scores.
I talked to you about it before. The NBA hates the Pistons.
Because of this.
They hated them in the 80s into the 90s because of the bad boys. And they hated them in 03, 04, 05 because of the defense that they played. Ben Wallace made the Hall of Fame because of this defense. That's what they were. And the NBA thinks they're ugly. They're the ugly stepchild of the NBA. That's a fact. That's why we don't win the draft lottery or even come in the top 3. I know we won the Cade one, so I guess you got me on that one. But more than likely, they're very happy that the Pistons did not win that draft lottery.
Well,
that's my take.
I got news for you now. The Pistons haven't played that kind of defense in years.
Yeah, they don't play defense
like a
now.
sieve last year.
They don't play defense.
I mean, they don't play any defense, and
that's why they need Lindsey Hunter and those pit bulls.
Well, that block by Tayshaun epitomized what that team was all about as well.
No quit.
Hard work, going to work, no quit, hustle, defense, winner. That's what it was. I mean, look at this. If you're just watching, you young kids out there, look at this. Look at this. Nobody close. And then Reggie Miller's out there crying. Oh, he fouled goaltending. He fouled goaltending.
If he takes that to the cup and jams it,
right,
it's not a block, but that's a Reggie Miller lay-in. That's the kind of player he was. I loved Reggie Miller's game. But, yeah, it was great to see that. And look at Sheed.
I told you.
Look at O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal was in shock.
Oh, man.
Absolutely in shock.
No doubt. Anyway. All right, guys. So there's that. I'm trying to tap dance on this Pistons stuff.
It's okay.
Waiting for Lindsey.
We can move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on now.
Fine.
Okay, we're going to move on now.
That's good.
Lindsey, if we can get you, great. If it works out, awesome. If not, we'll figure it out on the other side. Meanwhile, we're going to take a break. We'll talk about Calvin Johnson. We'll do a little Lions, and they've signed some players as well.
They did.
But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
All right, cousinsmainelobster.com. You know what the deal is. You got to click on that QR code right there on that truck on the side of my head there. Click on that. It'll take you right to their site, and you can check out their schedule and download their app while you're at it and find out where they are in Metro Detroit. 2 great food trucks with amazing kitchens rolling around the city of Detroit and, of course, the metro area. And if you click on it and you order ahead, like Lindsey does, you start getting points, and then you start saving money. You're going to think you're in New England, but you're right here in Detroit, USA. It's cousinsmainlobster.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Jumpin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Jumpin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Jumpin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. You can subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. You'll see all of the shows. We got 4 live shows daily, and of course, plenty of clips that are played throughout the day. Social media as well. Great place, Woodward Sports.
Let's thought of another birthday.
Yeah.
Chris Draper's birthday's today.
Oh yeah, how old's Drapes?
I think he might be 50.
Really?
Yeah, I know Mac turned 50 last year. I think Drapes turns 50 this year.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'll have to check him out.
That is incredible.
Happy birthday, Drapes.
Absolutely. One of the good guys, Chris Draper.
One of the best.
One of the good guys.
One of the best. Him and Mac together are, what a team. That's all I got to say. And Maltz.
No doubt. Lions signed their first-round pick, Jack Campbell. You know, these signings are not what they used to be, right? I mean, you used to have all of these holdouts.
You got a slot.
Hell, I think Braylon even held out
did.
back in the day. Braylon's out today. He'll be back tomorrow.
Probably should have held out longer.
Yeah, he probably should have. There's no doubt. But now they're all slotted. And Jack Campbell is in the fold. I think it's important to get these guys in as quickly as you can. Jack Campbell was the only off-ball linebacker taken in the first 2 rounds of last month's NFL draft. Now he's under contract. Quote, obviously, there's high expectations out of me, but everything's earned. That's from Dave Burkett's Twitter. That's where that quote is from. But this is a guy that a lot of people are very excited about.
And they should be.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing this guy on the field. I think he's a plug-in linebacker, and I'm looking forward to seeing him and Alex Anzalone work together and then get Malcolm Rodriguez in there and Derek Barnes. And, hey, man, I'm just ready for the Lions, man. I can't wait for the Lions. And I know, Memorial Day is coming up on Monday, and that's an unofficial start of summer. I can't wait for it to be over already. I swear, I'm just ready for football. I wish we can go. I think it's going to be 91 degrees next week. I saw one of the 5-day forecasts.
Too.
I don't want that. I'm sorry. I don't want that.
I don't either.
I want fall already. Give me this and right into fall. That's it.
I don't want any part of that.
I don't.
At all. 91 degrees. And I do wish the summer away a little bit just to get to football season, because we finally have a football team in the city of Detroit that a lot of people are very excited about.
Especially us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And they're on the field. We're going to talk to Dan Miller coming up at the top of the hour. But they're on the field at Allen Park getting some work in. You saw, Jamison Williams taking passes from Jared Goff.
Man, he looks full speed ahead.
Yeah, he does.
He looks full speed ahead. But the key on the ACL, like Braylon says, it's not the straightaway that's the problem. It's the cuts and the side to side. I swear, I still get my stomach hurts when I think of him trying to do a juke. I just hope he stays together.
Lions also signed veteran offensive tackle Jermaine Ifedi today from the Seattle Seahawks, providing some depth there. I don't
Former number 1 pick.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with Frank Ragnow. There's the toe situation. It's like, now it's too late to get surgery.
You can't get surgery anymore. It's inoperable.
Inoperable. Do you just
They've
cut
done
it
everything
off?
they could for that toe.
Do we know which toe it is? It's not a big toe.
I don't know. I thought it was the big toe.
Was it the big toe?
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know how you hold your balance without the big toe.
I don't know.
I mean, has anybody ever broken their toe? They're broken their big. Do you know how hard it is to just walk straight with a big toe broken?
I bet, and the pinky.
It ain't like Sergeant Hulk is sticking that big toe up.
Yeah. Now listen, that's why they got a guy like Graham Glasgow that they can plug and play into center as well. So, who knows? I wish, if you can go back to the draft, that they might have picked an offensive lineman a little higher than they did. But we'll see how they do.
I don't know.
They seem to know what they're doing.
How do you say that now, though? Because if you look at their draft, where were you going to? Which player don't you want? Brian Branch?
No, I did.
Jack Campbell?
No, I wanted him too.
Jameer Gibbs?
No, I definitely wanted
Hendon
him.
Hooker?
Maybe there. Maybe there.
Really?
Maybe there. maybe
Mr. Quarterback guy now wants offensive lineman?
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know if they're going to ever use him. Because if Jared Goff comes out this year and does what we hope he does, take him to the playoffs, win a couple of games, when is Hendon Hooker ever going to get in? When?
Well, I mean, ultimately you could trade him if it works out. I mean, if Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, you're probably going to sign him to a long-term deal. Or at least a 2-year deal, a 2-year extension. And then you've got a piece in Hendon Hooker. There's a lot of...
I'm just saying, if there was a spot, maybe that was the spot. That's all.
Soft Jones says, I had turf toe from a wielding install 3 years ago. Never heals. It's just awful. Can't plan for a jump shot or golfing. Stephen Baffy, it's turf toe. It's similar to any other ligament injury. It's basically like having a door when the spring does not work. Oh, man.
Yeah, and then Ragnow, he's suffering. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. He's playing hurt every day.
The big toe holds more than double the weight of all 4 other toes combined. I mean, there's a lot of toe experts on here.
There is.
I've never known so many people that are toe people.
Hey, the toe.
Welding, sorry. Well, I was like welding, yeah. I didn't know if it was some, whatever it was. From a welding injury, Soft Jones. There's nothing soft about you, Jones, if you're doing welding, man. God bless you. God bless you. That is fantastic.
That's real work.
Yeah, it is. No doubt. No doubt. I wanted to play this for you, though. This is, I did have the opportunity to talk to Calvin Johnson today. And one of the things that I brought up was the relationship with the Lions. We've talked about this since he retired. Look, he was put in the Hall of Fame, and he did not wear anything.
You never mentioned Lions.
Never mentioned the Lions. Mentioned Detroit fans, but never mentioned the Lions. Never wore like anything Lions throughout the week or anything like that. But it was hard not to notice the fact that he was with the first-round draft choices when they came to Allen Park. He is hosting his football camp for high school football players at the Allen Park practice facility. Here's what he said about his relationship with the Lions currently. How do you characterize it?
Yes, I would say the same. We have had more and more frequent discussions, speaking a lot with not just Mike Disner over there, even more people are coming into the fold, being able to talk to the coaches and whatnot is very cool. I'm a fan of the game, I'm a fan of Dan, I'm a fan of the coaching staff that he has over there because I know how much the team will learn from that, will glean from that. So, this is very exciting the way they ended last year. It's very exciting the way how they're going into this year because, that the way they ended just gives them all the momentum they need for this year, and they're looking good in our division. So,
he was glowing about Dan Campbell and the coaching staff, and he wants to be back in. I think he feels good about where they are right now. It's and look, only he and the Lions really know what's going on, but it's good enough now to where he feels like he wants to be around a little bit. And I think that's important for Calvin Johnson. I think it's important for the Detroit Lions, and I think it's important for Detroit Lions fans.
Not a doubt about it. You want your best players to be represented here. And there's been a time where Barry Sanders disappeared. You remember that, how he just retired into the night on a fax. And Calvin Johnson retired early. We had him in the studio a couple of years ago. Me and D-Mac were talking to him, and I asked him flat out. It was the first time he even spoke about it, about if he really wanted to continue playing, but for another team. And he said, yeah, I did. And the Lions wouldn't trade him. There was a word that Barry Sanders wanted to go to the Miami Dolphins when he retired out of the blue, and they didn't send him there either. So both guys left with bad taste in their mouth from this franchise. It is a new franchise now. It has been turned over. Sheila Ford Hamp, now it's Sheila Hamp. She is the owner of the Detroit Lions. Lions fans. Yes, that's her. It's all good. She hired Brad Holmes. She hired Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes put together this fantastic coaching staff that guys love being part of. Deuce Staley never would have left here to go to Carolina. He said it. Hadn't been for family obligations that he had down south. Guys want to be here. This is the place to be. And to have your two best players represent you, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson back in the family. That's huge, and it's a good PR move, man. PR.
And Dan Campbell feels like a guy that is helping bring everybody together too. I mean, Dan Campbell played
He's
with
the everyman.
He played with Calvin Johnson, the staff that he has. We talk about those guys all the time, but to hear Calvin Johnson talk about the staff, and how it excites him. If that staff that Dan Campbell put together is exciting Calvin Johnson, how is it? What's the feel in the league? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you know.
Exactly.
5 primetime games.
Exactly.
I think you know.
You know, but I'm just saying with players in and of itself, right? Whether it's the Lions keeping their own free agents to free agents wanting to come here, whether it's Emmanuel Mosley, whether it's Cam Sutton being so excited to be here. Yeah. There's a lot of positive things happening with the Detroit Lions right now. One thing that isn't as positive, it's what's been going on with Jameson Williams, the injury all last year. We knew about that. Then the gambling suspension this year. This young man is facing adversity. I asked Calvin Johnson what his advice would be to Jameson Williams. We'll have that for you next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac.
Spenny got his car today.
Absolutely. Rackster, baby. Rackster got that Blazer today.
Black on black on black.
Oh, sick. It looks sick. Spenny, baby.
He's going to be picking up the chicks,
man. He already is. You don't need the car.
He's a stud.
Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Jibby77 in the chat says Spenny needs to find a good gilf. Let me tell you, Spenny is a commodity, man. This guy gets more women than anybody in the chat combined.
Both heavyweights.
Oh, these heavyweights are incredible.
Yeah.
What they're doing out there.
They are studs.
Oh, you can watch the heavyweights 5 to 7 live here on woodwardsports.com or anytime you want.
If I wasn't married, I'll just pick up their scraps.
Oh, man, these guys, let me tell you. He is a Diz 411. Spenny is balling. Hell, yes, he is. And not just with the car. You should see what Spenny's got going on around here.
And he's a hard worker.
Absolutely. Mike Gentry, my guy in the audio booth. JB, the heart and soul of the show over here in the TD booth. Parker is back there as well. He's going to be a part of the show. Big part of the show, Parker, is he's learning from the great JB. Tom Mazawey in on the big desk today.
Parker's already asking if he could talk on the show. He's
oh, man, it depends, man. We got to see what you got.
He's already 2 days
I like the fortitude,
I do
man.
too.
I like the fortitude.
And he brought donuts
Hell
in.
yeah. You got to be your biggest advocate.
Absolutely.
Right? Forget about whatever it is. You are your biggest advocate. Nobody is going to give you anything.
Facts.
You got to go take it.
Facts.
You got to go grab it. just wanted to put that out there. Everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 75 likes. Over 400 people watching live right now. Let's see if we can get to over 75 likes by the end of this segment. I will say I was really impressed with what Calvin Johnson said today in regards to Jameson Williams. He was at Fox 2 earlier this morning, and I had a chance to chat with him about a variety of different topics. And one of those things was Jameson Williams, right? I mean, Jameson Williams, a lot is expected of last year's first-round pick.
A lot.
The Lions traded up 20 spots to get him. And there's been, it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. I mean,
hasn't been any of them.
Absolutely. The first year of injuries and then the first 6 games, he'll be suspended this year. I asked Calvin what his advice would be to Jameson Williams. Here's what he had to say.
You went through adversity early in your career. You were 0-16. You had played through an injury in year 2. Yeah. Jameson Williams is a guy that's going through some adversity at the start of his career. What advice would you give to him as he embarks on year 2 here with the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the adversity that he's been through. We're here living with him, and it's unfortunate, but adversity is going to come. It's always going to be adversity, when in anything that you do, even if things are just seemingly going right, there's always going to be some level of adversity, but it's really just how you interact with that adversity. How do you combat that adversity? Do you allow that adversity to, hold you down, or do you push up? Do you thrive? Do you stand back up? So this is all about getting back up. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you just got to keep on getting back up, and you'll find success.
It's a great message.
Yeah, so which way are you going to take it? And I know this is different sports and different parts of their careers, but, Javi Baez, we talk about Javi Baez getting benched a lot. Javi Baez took that embarrassment of being benched, and he looked at it as a positive, and he looked at it and he was better. He has been better.
Yep.
And I think Javi Baez should get a lot of credit for that, and I think he does. Jameson Williams, I think, and look, OTA is going on, 3rd week in May. He's there. He's practicing hard. He can practice. He can be in the building when the season starts. No, that's when the suspension starts, but he can play in the preseason. I'd like to see, and I think we are seeing, how JMO is going to react to this. It looks like he's taking this seriously, and I think that's all anybody can ask for. Everybody can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to make mistakes, no matter if you're a first-round pick or, a carpenter or a painter or whatever. We all, radio host, talk show, we all make mistakes. How do you respond to those mistakes? That's what sets you apart from somebody else. So I think you got to really like what you see out of JMO so far.
So far, so good. Except for that next day, after he got suspended and he went to Vegas, saw the UFC fight, and he said, hey, look what I did. And he put his betting ticket up. I think they did take it down after that. But he's a kid, and he's probably younger in his mind than the age he is. What is he, early 20s? He's probably 19 years old in his head right now. He's still a college kid. So he made some mistakes. It's how he comes back, like you said. And what I see at OTAs, really can't judge it, but it looks like he's full speed, working hard, and it goes from there. It's better than hearing Brad Holmes say, we need him to work hard. Remember all those words that Brad Holmes kind of walked around? We need Jameson to do the things that he's supposed to do. We're not hearing that right now. And I'm sure we're going to have plenty of reporters asking Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes going forward here about Jameson Williams. We're going to find out more about him as the week goes on. But he's there, and you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, and look, we talked about this back when it happened, when the suspension happened of Jameson Williams. If he comes back and just lights the world on fire and is a major contributor to this team, all will be forgotten. All will be forgotten. But if he doesn't, and I think because of the track record, we're unsure if that was going to happen or not.
We don't know anything about him.
Exactly. So I think that's what I am taking a wait and see approach. I hope to God that he chooses to go the other way, and do what he's doing now. But the more time you have, time is never anybody's friend.
Idle time is the worst.
Yeah, time. Idle time.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I meant. Idle time is nobody's friend.
They say that's
at
when
all.
the devil works.
That is. Whether you're eating potato chips on the couch or getting pizzas delivered to your house or whatever and watching Netflix or whatever, and you're sitting there, before you know it, you're 400 pounds. Or you're out at the club, or you're out, doing this, doing that. We don't know. So I don't like a lot of idle time. I hate that he can't be around the team for 6 weeks.
Oh, it's good. It's a killer. It really is a bad thing. I thought they really hammered him. 6 games is a lot. And I know Calvin really got a year. But 6 games for a rookie, a kid coming off his rookie season. And we really don't know exactly what he did. The word on the street was he was near the practice facility and he put a bet in on, I think, college football or something like that. And that's frowned upon on team territory. That's all we know. We really don't know any more about that than that. And then the word comes out the next day. Everyone's like, "Oh, is this guy a bust? Is this guy another bust?" You can't judge that yet. We got to wait it out. Let's see how he does in practice and how he is in summer camp. And it's unfortunate. We're only going to see him in preseason. Then he's got to shut it down for 6 freaking weeks. And that's a killer.
I still believe he is one of the 3 most talented players on the team as far as athletic ability goes.
Jahmyr Gibbs,
Jamison Williams, and
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
There you go. One of the 3
Hutchinson?
most. I wasn't thinking of the bigger guys, but
he is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's an athletic dude,
and I think JMO is more talented in many ways than Amon-Ra. You just got to see it. They are different players.
First of all, Amon-Ra St. Brown is not. He's not a kid in his head. That's a grown man.
Yeah,
and he acts like a grown man. From the day he got here, he knew all the teams that passed on him. Remember that video?
Yep.
He knows every team that passed on him, and he went out and he kicked ass from day one, and he's still best receiver on the Lions right now. Hands down until someone takes him down.
One of the best in the league. I mean, you're looking at a top 15 guy.
Easy.
And in many cases, many people would put him, or some
top
anyway,
12.
would put him in the top 12, top 10, top 12 for sure. But I would put him absolutely top 15. Tom Mazawey. Plenty more Lions talk to get to. Top of the hour with Dan Miller, but I want to take a pause next. Major announcement from Michigan State football today, talking about a Black Friday game. We'll talk about that next, but first a message from Planet Fitness.
JB.
Fitness. Now, we all know Planet Fitness as your home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out for just $10 a month. But right now, Planet Fitness...
Just $10?
Yeah, just $10. But right now, Planet Fitness is thrilled to allow high schoolers ages 14 through 19 in the U.S. and Canada to work out for free all summer long, all the way until August 31st. Teens can register now and officially gain access to the club with open registration all through the summer months, all the way up until August 31st. But that's not all, because they are giving away over $200,000 to high schools and students. That's right, teens ages 14 through 19 who register for the high school summer pass will help win a scholarship for their school and participate in a TikTok video contest for the chance to win academic scholarships. For more information, visit the landing page for their legal disclosure as well too at pfsummerpasscontest.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Got to double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, watching live on fox2detroit.com. Thanks so much for doing so. Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. Hit that like button as well. And if you want some sweet stuff, you can watch, go to the shop on woodwardsports.com. Lots of great items on there as well. Very reasonably priced, very comfortable as well. woodwardsports.com shop. Some news today regarding Michigan State. They will host Penn State, get this, at Ford Field this year. So the game is being moved to Friday, November 24th as part of the Big Ten's new primetime package with NBC. Spartans are going to play at Ford Field for the first time since 2010. So they'll have 6 true home games this year. It'll be a 7:30 kickoff on Black Friday. And they're going to have the broadcast audience to themselves. There is a Black Friday NFL game
at 3.
But that is going to be on streaming.
Yep. 2 streamers we got going.
I hate the streaming sports stuff. I hate it.
So we got 2 football games on Black Friday now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
the NFL game, Miami and the Jets. Yep. And now you got Michigan State and Penn State, not at Spartan Stadium, but at Ford Field, and that's going to be a 7:30 kick on Peacock. I think it's exciting. Now, here's the downside. Penn State is probably going to be pretty decent. Michigan State, I don't know. Are they going to win 5, 6 games, 7 games at best? I think they could pack the place if Michigan State has a chance.
Oh, the place will be sold out for sure.
I'm just saying, but it's the last game of their season. So what's their record at that time?
Even if it's 4-7 at that time, even if it's 5-6, maybe they're playing for a bowl appearance or something like that. I don't care what it is. I mean, that's a free square.
Yeah, I know.
You know how many people are home for Thanksgiving or in the Detroit area for Thanksgiving that wouldn't love it? Hell, I'd go to that game. And I don't care about Michigan State.
My family comes in from New Jersey every Christmas, every Thanksgiving. This year's a little weird because my nieces are going to go to college for the first time, but they're at Pitt. So I'm hoping my sister and brother-in-law will drive to Michigan, pick up the girls from Pitt, and keep on coming to Michigan because I already wrote them this. And I'm like, now we can go not only to the Lions game, but the next day we can go see Michigan State. My daughter Lily, a proud Spartan, would love to have her cousins and her family at Ford Field. I'd go in a minute. I mean, we went in a snowstorm a couple of years ago at Penn State, at Michigan State. That was fun as hell. I know it was in a snowstorm, but it was fun.
The one thing I'm a little unclear of, now this is a 7:30 game, what that means for the high school football state championships.
Well, they play Saturday. Oh,
they play Friday, Saturday.
Well, maybe they go Saturday, Sunday now.
So, for instance, my nephew plays at De La Salle. They've been they're back-to-back Division II state champions. Yep. They played at Ford Field Friday at 1:00.
Right.
The last 2 years.
Wow.
So the Lions play Thursday. High school football state championships were Friday, Saturday. And there's like 4 games. I mean, it's like 10.
I think they're getting bumped.
They must get bumped because there are 4 games. Oh, my goodness. Tina Turner has passed away.
No.
It just came through. Tina Turner has passed away at age 83.
Oh, man.
My goodness. What an icon.
Yes.
What an icon.
She's back with Ike now. Hopefully she'll beat his ass.
I don't.
What am I supposed to do with that? Mess.
So, I didn't think you would go there.
What's your problem, man?
I got no problem.
That's his
What's your
face.
problem?
I didn't think you would go there, man.
Come on, man.
I got nothing. What? I wanted it to get even.
Gosh. Damn. I mean, JB's holding the phone up, waving. I thought he's got an answer on what's going to happen with the high school football state championships. I look down, damn, Tina Turner dead. It's so bad. It's so bad. I apologize to the Turner family. Well, it's terrible.
We need to go to commercial.
Dude, man. Oh, God.
Should we go to commercial?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. No, Tina Turner, one of the best, absolutely. Dead at the age of 83. I don't have any more information on it, but I wanted to pass that information along. But anyway, I'm curious to see because that's a huge weekend, that state championship weekend.
It's got to be Saturday, Sunday.
Well, but I hope my nephew goes down. My nephew's team goes down because I go to the Michigan-Ohio State game on Saturday.
Oh, my.
I mean, you could play for your state championships all you want.
So you need them on Sunday.
I need them on Sunday. I need them on Sunday. There's no doubt about it. Oh, man, that's fantastic. Yeah, because there's 8 divisions. So there's four divisions on Friday that go, and then 4 divisions on Saturday that go. So I'm a little unclear on that. But
hey, sticking in the Big Ten, USC and UCLA joined, not this year, but next year. Did you know USC's AD, Mike Bohn, resigned just a few days ago? And I think it's just a weird time for that to happen. Here it is. He's got his team ready to go to the Big Ten to join UCLA and go in, and they get rid of their AD, or he leaves. I don't know if they got rid of him, but he leaves, man. I just think it's an odd time for an athletic director to leave when your team is switching conferences.
You know, maybe he did what he had to do. You know, maybe that's what maybe he did what he had to do, and now he moves on. It's almost like sometimes you need a team president to only help you build a new arena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember Tom Wilson with the Little Caesars?
Tom Wilson with the Little Caesars arena.
Went from the Palace to Little Caesars.
Or even Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren left the Big Ten Conference to go be the president of the Chicago Bears. He's not doing anything with the team.
No.
He's helping the Chicago Bears build a new facility at Arlington Park.
Yeah. That's a killer, by the way. I hate that. I wish they would stay at Soldier Field, but, you know, they want a dome. They want a huge piece of property with parking and all, and they want to get a Final Four. They want to get a Super Bowl. So that's a done deal.
And again, you know, maybe this guy just wanted to get USC to a bigger conference. He got the deal done. Now he's gone. Even just stick with Kevin Warren for a minute. He was the president of the Minnesota Vikings.
That's
Helped them build US Bank Field.
Gorgeous field.
And then he left that job. I mean, so when you're that high, of a role, a business role, and that's really what an AD's job is: get the money in, get the money.
Yep.
That's what happens there.
Well, you think Ward Manuel's doing good enough for that?
Well, look, Ward's got some problems,
Yeah, he
man.
does.
Ward absolutely has some problems. And PR is a big problem.
You bet.
In Ann Arbor right now. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dan Miller. Dan will join us, talk a little Lions football. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for your chance. You'll automatically be registered for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, 1 for your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your kid, whoever you want to give it to. It's up to you. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Top of hour number 2, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon out today. Tom Mazawey is here. We've got JB. We've got Mike Gentry having some fun here on a Wednesday. This weather has been fantastic. Yep. This is like heavenly to me.
But then it takes a dark turn next week into the 90s.
Into the 90s. A dark turn into the 90s. Nobody wants that. Hey, it's good that the Lions are holding their OTAs out in Allen Park this week.
Yeah.
They don't want to be working out in the 90s, do
who
they?
wants that?
No,
Nobody
they don't.
wants that.
Looking good out there in Allen Park. Hey, let's talk a little Lions. Fox 2 Sports Director, voice of the Lions, the great Dan Miller. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, Dan. Thanks for coming on.
Dan, what goes on during OTAs in a week like this? I mean, what is it? Being acclimated, a lot of the young guys, a lot of the rookies, they signed Jack Campbell. What's happening this week at OTAs?
I think, number one, you're trying to make sure the young guys are in the playbook, because what you want to do is you want to be able to hit the ground running when you get to camp in late July, early August. So for the guys that are just coming in particular, those early draft picks whom they're expecting to play, in particular those top 3 guys between Gibbs, Campbell, and Laporta, you want to make sure that they're ready to go, that there's not a huge acclimation period. You're down to 3 preseason games now, and we've seen that guys don't play a whole lot, so we'll have to see how they work the rookies in there. But that's number one. And number 2, I think, look, you got some guys that are coming off injuries. You want to see where they're at. And then it's just reps. It's making sure that everybody's on the same page. Things change from year to year. Positions change from year to year. They're going to have a new secondary from last year to this year. Cohesiveness with the offensive line, just repping drills and things like that. So I think, you're laying a foundation for what you're going to do later this summer, so that the stuff you're doing now, you don't have to kind of redo that come later, and you can just be ready to roll.
And part of that foundation is the culture they've built here over the last 2 years. We use that word a lot, culture. But, I mean, when you look around, there are holdouts everywhere. But here, in a voluntary portion, you've got full participation. I mean, everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be with this team and being at that facility.
I think they've tried to bring in a certain type of guy. And when you talk about culture, let's face it, a lot of times culture is about winning and things like that. But I think they've also gone after a certain mindset, a certain football player. They talk a lot about loving the game, and they talk a lot about guys that it is important to them. And I think sometimes that shows up in just being there, being present, saying, okay, yeah, it is voluntary for part of this, but I'm going to be there even for the voluntary part, because it's important to me, it's important to the organization, it's important to my teammates, and I feel that I owe that to them. So I think all those things go into that big word that we throw around a lot, culture. But culture is set by the type of guys that you have. Ultimately, winning has to be a part of it. But really at its base, I think it's that locker room, how these coaches interact with that locker room, and how there's collaboration, there's unification, that everybody's kind of working towards the same goal, and you don't have guys that are kind of straying to the crazy again.
Hey, Dan, should we be worried about Frank Ragnow going forward? What toe is it? And he said it can't be worked on anymore. And the guy's playing through pain. We know that. And this is a tough game, especially at center. What's the scoop with Frank?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I've seen what you've seen. We've seen him play with pain. He said it's beyond the point now that they can operate on it. And look, a toe is not something that you necessarily want to have to deal with if you're an offensive lineman, because you're constantly pushing forward, and it's your feet that you're kind of lunging forward. In particular, in run blocking, pass blocking, it's a little more absorbing contact, but not a good thing for any sort of offensive lineman. That said, I don't know how serious it is at this point, how much he's recovered at this point. He's said they've done as much medically as they can do. He did play for the most part last year, but what you have to hope is that he's not playing in pain this year to the point that he is last year, and that this isn't something that follows him for the rest of his career, that it can get to a point where even if it's not 100%, you're not dealing with that pain issue week in and week out, because you're talking about one of the best centers in the league and really the guy that anchors that offensive line.
Hey, they brought in a former first-round pick of Seattle, Jermaine Irfetti. He gets to play here on the team. He gets to play a little offensive tackle. Do you see him fitting in somewhere, or is he just going to be like an extra body?
Help me with that one. When did he come in?
Jermaine Irfetti, they just signed him. Offensive lineman, veteran offensive tackle.
You're giving me something I don't have. I didn't see that one. So no, I didn't see that one. But no, I think they're constantly looking for depth. I think we've seen in the past that the offensive line, in terms of what they're looking for with injuries, we've seen them be able to absorb those injuries, and I think that's important. But I think in terms of where they're at, I think anytime they can add a veteran, they can add a body, they can add somebody that's played in this league at a high level. We saw him go back and get Graham Glasgow this year. They're bringing back Big V to see what he's got. So I think we've seen attrition. We were just talking about Ragnow, and that attrition leads you to know that you need to have guys behind all the guys in front that can play.
Talking to Dan Miller, voice of the Lions, Fox 2 sports director. Dan, I wanted to ask you about Jameson Williams. It looks like, many eyes are going to be on him during OTAs. It looks like he's doing all the right things right now. Calvin Johnson was at Fox 2 earlier today, talked to him, and he said, look, there's two ways you can go with this. You can go right or go left, when you face adversity, and that's what Jameson's got to figure out.
I think, and I've said this before, that Jameson's story will go by how he reacts to this 6-game penalty, okay? Is he doing all the things that you have to do between now and final cut down when he can be with this team to make himself a better player, to get ready to play in the National Football League, or is he giving less than that? Because anything less than his best is not going to bode well for his future. And that means being present, knowing where your feet are, doing everything that you're supposed to do, being in that playbook, getting yourself in position so that when those 6 games are gone, you're ready to roll in game number 7. And there's a maturity involved here, and it's got to be, okay, I messed up. There's nothing I can do going backwards. All I can do is go forwards, and I'm going to go forward with the best possible attitude and ability that I can. And I think that's going to tell the story for Jameson Williams. I really believe how he reacts to this will dictate where he goes from here.
And speaking of Calvin, it is awesome to see him back with the first-round picks. It is awesome to know he's having his camp at Allen Park. I mean, fans want to see that. The Lions want that. He wants that. Just your take on the whole situation and the fact that he seems like, he said today, the relationship is on the incline. It is getting better. I think that's something everybody wants to see, don't you?
Yeah, we've read and we've seen that Mike Disner has done a lot towards trying to bridge the gap between Calvin and the team. And it's apparent when you see the things that you've talked about, Ryan, that he's standing there with Barry Sanders and the 2 number 1 picks, that he is in fact having his camp at Allen Park the day before his charity golf tournament coming up in June. Those are signs that, okay, Calvin's coming back into the family. They have found some way to put.
Come on back, Dan.
We'll see if we can get Dan Miller back. Seems to be a Wi-Fi hit there. But yeah, I think everybody wants to see Calvin Johnson back with this organization. It is a scenario in which Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, two of the greatest Lions of all time. You want them in the fold. You want them around your current players. Every player that is on your team right now wants to be them. They want to be in the Hall of Fame. They want to be great players. They want to make impact. They want to be icons. They want to be elite. They want to be remembered in this town. And they want to see Calvin Johnson around. And, what Dan said about Jameson Williams as well. JB, how are we looking? Are we okay or no? No, not yet. Okay. They want to see Jameson Williams and how he reacts. Look, you can go down any road you want.
Yeah.
If you hit a fork in the road, you got two choices.
Right.
And there's only two real choices that you can have. You can use it as fuel to get better and go on the right path, or you can use it to say, woe is me, the rules suck, and go south. There's no other two options about it. There's not a third option.
Having Calvin there to coach him and to be a mentor is huge. And I really do believe that the kid, Jameson Williams, will buy in to the new Lions way, the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes way, and just be a positive influence and not be a negative, a guy that's going to pull the team down. That's the reason they let DeAndre Swift go. They did not want to have DeAndre Swift in the room being upset that he's not getting playing time and, whine. So they sent him to Philadelphia. I don't like the trade. I never did. But that's why they do it. You get rid of malcontents and move on.
All right, speaking of moving on, we got Dan Miller back. Dan, thanks so much. I don't know if you wanted to finish a thought about Calvin and, seeing him with Barry and being in the organization.
Yeah, I don't know where it cut me off here. Technology, great. But no, I think that, as I was saying, Calvin is an all-time great in Detroit. Calvin lives in Detroit. Calvin has a business here in Detroit. So we need him to be a part of this organization. And anything less than him being a part of the family would be a terrible shame. And it appears that they have bridged much of the gap. I don't know what the specifics are, but when I see Calvin with Barry in the number one picks and I see Calvin having his camp at Allen Park, that tells me that, he feels comfortable being back out there. And I think that's massively important because he should be at Ford Field. He should be part of the family, and he should be a face of this organization.
Absolutely. Dan, we have a guest in studio wants to ask you a question.
Dapper, what's up, bud? So I hear you guys talking, and, Calvin, a great man, as we know. I've known his wife for a long time, being a part of the Lions. And, these young guys come in, they play. Barry Sanders there. He can't change DeAndre Swift. It's good to have Calvin back around the team just because he deserves it. But I'm not sure that an ex-player makes a new player turn who they are or how they were raised or how they act. But it is glad to have him back in the building. I want to ask you a question more about the defensive side of the ball, especially the D-line and our linebackers. Both very young groups, unproven, but a lot of hopefully upside. Tell me how you think we're going to get after the quarterback and stop the run this year. We went after and brought in a lot of free agents as DBs, but how do you feel our D-line and linebackers are going to be able to hold up this year to make the Lions a playoff contender and a 10-11 win team?
And let me say one thing about your initial point, Chad, and that's this. If you're a young player that is willing to listen to guys that have done it at the high level in this league, that only bodes well for you. You're right, you can't make them, but if you understand that you can listen to a Calvin Johnson, or you can listen to a Barry Sanders, or you can listen to a Herman Moore, or somebody that's done it at a high level and can help you understand what it takes to be successful in this league, that's only a positive for you. And if you don't want to do that, well, that's on you, because you've got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge there that these guys can impart to you on what it takes and kind of sacrifices you have to make to be great in this league. So you're right. You can't make them, but I think if the smart ones will look up and say, help me, teach me, let me learn some things. I know I've got the ability, but there's intangibles in this league that can play a big part in that. Look, I think if you look at this defensive line right now, there's some questions, in particular with some guys that were injured last year. Is Onwuzurike going to make any sort of impact at all? Will he be able to play this year? Haskell was hurt for a lot of last year. He's a second-round draft pick. They think he can be an interior guy that can help him. Maleem McNeil has done a lot of work this offseason changing his body. He's going to look like a different guy out there. How does that impact his performance? I think the middle of the defensive line is the biggest question that this team has. The couple of guys back on the edge. We saw what Houston did. We saw what Aiden did. Those guys have to continue to grow. Last year is the base. Last year is, I'm a rookie, I'm pretty good. Now you need to get better, and I think that's what those guys will do. And Aiden is a tireless worker that I have no doubt will try to maximize every single thing he can do. Linebackers, look, I think when all is said and done, you're looking at Anzalone and Campbell playing most of the snaps for this football team. I think Campbell's going to come in. I think he's going to start. You don't draft a kid in the first round unless you believe he's going to be a starter right away. I think that kind of kicks down Rodriguez into being a special teams type of guy. But, Chad, to your point, how those guys play will dictate where that defense goes. This defense last year wasn't good for much of the season. A lot better towards the end of the season. But you got to come out, if you want to win this division, playing that way at the beginning of the year. You got to be better against the run. And better against the run starts with those guys in the middle, flows to the linebackers, and the guys on the outside keeping every. Look, I think he's there. I think we saw how well they played at the end of last year, but I think there's still a lot of some of these guys be how quick Jack Campbell will come along. Those possibilities are both exciting, but I think they also are question marks until guys answer them.
If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening audio only, that is our owner, Chad Johnson, sitting in the Maz chair today.
How do you like that chair?
Sitting in whatever chair he wants to sit in.
That's right. He owns them all. No doubt. Hey, Dan, I wanted to ask you two major things that happened this week. Thursday Night Football flex and the fair catch on the kickoffs. How do you feel about that? Fair catch between the 25-yard line and the goal line will now be the ball goes to the 25-yard line, and then a flex. I don't know if I think you're done. I think it's frozen again. I want to thank Dan Miller for that. Let's thank Dan.
Ask Chad what he thinks then.
Yeah, I'm going to do that next. Dan, appreciate you, buddy. Love you. Chad, flex schedule. 2 Thursday night games, week 13 through week 17. So that's 5 games that could be flexed out. A maximum of 2 Thursday night games that people can have. Where are you on the flex? The Lions were one of the 8 teams that voted against flexing on a Thursday night schedule. And then what do you think of the fair catch? Jay Feely said, former kicker said, we'll never see another Devin Hester again. That player is taken out of the league with this rule change.
I think you've seen Sheila also vote against doing the fair catch. So the Lions were against both changes that they ended up making. In regards to, special teams, I don't think there's a head coach, a GM, or a special teams coach that wants somebody to, at the 10-yard line, to raise their hand and say fair catch. I think the athletes are going to have a very difficult time catching the ball at the 5 or 10 and saying a fair catch to take it to the 25. I felt like if they wanted to say a fair catch, that it should have never been past the 20. But we're not making the decisions. I think the NFL does everything they can to stay away from litigation, I guess, which most businesses do. And I can't say that they're always trying to protect the athlete, because if they were, then you wouldn't have these Thursday night games coming off a Sunday game, given a 4-day rest, still barely even being able to get out of the bed, especially as a vet. We've talked to Calvin, we've talked to Herman, we've talked to a lot of ex-players, and it's not even until Tuesday, Wednesday to where they're able to even get out of the bed sometimes like a normal person. So they've been complaining. Every player's been complaining in regards to going from a Sunday to a Thursday game. So as much as I'm a fan of it and we like it because we want Thursday football, we want Sunday football, we want Monday football. So as a fan, I think we're pulled of what we want. But me having a lot of relationships with a lot of players or ex-players, it's just not really good on them, their bodies, their future, their longevity in their career. And I don't think that, the NFL speaks out of one mouth for one thing and out of the other mouth for the other thing. So you change up special teams because you want to keep them healthier, but then you add more Thursday night games and even flex Thursday games. So I'm sure the players are a bit confused, to be honest with you.
I think it's a waste of time, this fair catch. Why even kick the ball off then? All they do is kick it off and go to a timeout anyway and a commercial. Don't waste my time. I mean, how are you going to ask your special teams, your gunners, to run down the field and, bust their ass to get down there, and then a guy puts his arm up last second on the 10-yard line or the 5-yard line?
It's funny you bring this up because one of my really close best friends in the league, his name is Keyshawn Nixon, and he actually plays for our rival team,
Packers.
the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
But he made the All-Pro as a kick returner, punt returner, and he plays DB. He came from the Vegas Raiders to the Packers last year on a one-year, $850,000 deal, turned it into a one-year, $6 million deal. Now, he made it as an All-Pro as a kick returner and punt returner, like I said. And yesterday I seen him tweet out, "Fair catch? What's that?" So I do know that my boy Keyshawn Nixon, when we play the Green Bay Packers, he is not going to be saying fair catch when they kick it to him. Now, what other players and kick returners are going to do or the coaches are going to tell them to do, I can't answer that. But our rival Detroit Lions, Keyshawn Nixon, will not be fair catching the ball.
Look for that name. Hey, we got to pay some bills here, so I'm going to take a break. Chad, you're more than welcome to stay.
I kind of like it. I love football. I like the sports. I don't ever come in here much, but I do love it, and I love watching you guys.
And a perfect segment because we're going around the NFL next.
My
But
favorite.
first, a message from Big Boy.
Oh, Big Boy. Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Better than ever. You know it. Start it off with the breakfast and have that hot strawberry hot cakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, why not try a little lunch or snack? They've got the strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or if you want a little refreshing salad, their summer splash salad. And don't you dare leave without dessert, especially the classic strawberry pie. There's nothing better than that at Big Boy. The deep-fried vanilla Oreos and more at Lukey's favorite place, Big Boy.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Welcome back, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards out today. Tom Mazawey in the house. We've got our owner, Chad Johnson, in the house as well. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 150 likes by the end of this segment. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Subscribe. Coming up on 44,000 subscribers on that platform. Watch for videos throughout the social media platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, however you're consuming Woodward Sports, we absolutely appreciate you. Love everybody in the chat as well. Want to go around the NFL right now, Tom Mazawey? You have the floor.
You got it, guys. And hey, we wanted to get this yesterday. We didn't get a chance to, but Tom Brady is an NFL team owner, or at least a minority portion of it. He has bought a piece of Mark Davis's Las Vegas Raiders. That's right. Tom Brady now is an NFL team owner. Now, here's the kicker on this. He already had a piece of the Las Vegas Aces. That's that WNBA team that Mark Davis was running. And now he's got a piece of the Raiders. Here's the deal. He could still work on Fox. It does not affect his Fox broadcasting deal, and that's the kicker. What I thought, Chad, what are your thoughts on your guy Tom Brady and your team, the Raiders?
Yeah, the funny thing about the Raiders is obviously I spent 3 years around that team a lot because I have about 4 or 5 friends that played for Mark Davis, and one night I went to a boxing match actually, Fury versus Wilder. And I got to sit next to John Gruden and Mark Davis with John Abrams. Not name dropping, I'm just telling you how the story went. So I get to meet Mark Davis and hang out with him, and I'm like, you know what, Mark? I know how proud your dad is of you. Moving the team, coming to Las Vegas, getting this new stadium. He'd be so proud of you. And he looked at me and goes, Chad, my dad will never be proud of me until I win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And from there I knew, just how close he was to his dad and how competitive his dad was, suing the NFL, fighting with him every other year. But Mark's out there trying, doing a lot of things. He was close to John Gruden. They did a lot of things together, and it was a forced firing there. And, Bisciotti, who was a special teams coach, ended up taking over. And, a lot of the players wanted Bisciotti to stay. He ended up going to Green Bay. He's their special teams coach.
Yep.
But the Las Vegas Raiders and Mark Davis selling part of his team, to Tom Brady was interested. I don't know the full details of it, but not much like the Dolphins, who has Venus, and Serena own a part of the team, and J-Lo owns part of the team. We know that Tom Brady's not going to be any decision-making or anything like that, but interesting to know a little bit more about the details.
And not only that, he's back.
Your favorite guy, Tommy Brady, by the way.
Well, hey, certainly mine. And again, I think there's some symmetry there too. Josh McDaniels is
sure.
the head coach of the Raiders. Obviously, is offensive coordinator for many, many years with New England.
Hey, now it comes full circle. The Tuck rule officially comes full circle.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. When you saw Charles Woodson and you saw Tom Brady do their little hour, like 30 for 30, going at it like that. And funny story, my dad's passed, which is terrible, to always know that my dad's not here, to see my children grow up. But the last game that my dad was ever brought to by me was the Tuck game. Me being a Boston kid, my brother's a big Patriots fan, got a Patriots tattoo on his arm. And that game was amazing because it wasn't snowing. The game kicks off, it starts snowing. It snows through the whole game. I mean, it was just,
one of the
you
great
could barely
games.
even see in front of you. And, we'll go down to one of the best NFL games ever played. But being there live with my brother and my dad will be a long-term memory. And, we definitely thought it was a fumble because none of us really knew the Tuck rule. I'm not sure even Maz knew what the Tuck rule was at that point.
They made it up at that
Right.
point.
well, not only that, but I mean, look, there's those moments that happen in sports. We didn't know that the Calvin Johnson complete the process rule was
that's a
anything.
disgrace.
The Tuck rule, the process rule. You don't know these things until they happen.
Yeah, no. I think the Calvin Johnson really, really still bites us, right? Because that's I think a week 1 game against the Bears on the road. Expecting a lot from that team in that season. Drive all the way down the field. Matthew makes an amazing throw. Calvin makes an amazing catch. We're all pumped. We're probably in our houses jumping up and down, going crazy like we're kids because we still love the game and the team so much. And then taking it from us was just like, not us again.
It's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible.
Unbelievable.
And he dropped it by basically, trying to get up off the ground with using the ball as kind of his hand and ball leverage, and it pops out. And so, that was a tough one for us, and still, I think, not one that Calvin agrees with.
And then at the end of that year, Chad, if you remember, the playoff game against the Cowboys, how they stole that game away from the Lions and gave it to the Cowboys. And then the following week, Cowboys and Green Bay and Des Bryant with a touchdown. But no, Calvin ruled his touchdown, took it away from him. A week after the Cowboys stole that game from the Lions, the referee stole that game from the Cowboys.
Incredible.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Incredible
You can't
stuff.
make that up.
No.
Hey, speaking of Tom Brady, we'll keep it here. You guys remember the quarterback class that was drafted this last season? Bryce Young leading the way, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker, of course, Anthony Richardson, and the rest. I think I'm missing one.
Our quarterback, Hooker.
I think I mentioned Hooker. Anyway, Tom Brady got a chance to take him out to lunch and School him a little. Check this out.
Right, going in the second round, in the end, that's not that big of a deal. Going first overall, in the end, it's not a big deal. Right? It's great. You got opportunity. You're probably going to be paid more than anyone for a time period. But I was drafted, 199. I just outlasted everybody. There's another me back there. Right? So how do I keep my edge on everybody?
Nice.
I had to keep working. I didn't go, hey, I'm good. Right? I won 3 Super Bowls. I'm good.
So what Tom Brady just said to these guys is really an important lesson for life, no matter what you're doing. He had to keep his edge. He wasn't the first overall pick. He wasn't a first-round pick.
Pick 199.
It was his edge that he kept throughout his career. He had to continue to prove himself. He didn't rest on his laurels, for what it's worth. And that is something that so many people do, no matter what industry you're in. If you're a football player, if you're a sales guy, if you're a radio host, if you're a television host, if you're a doctor, whatever it is, people rest on their laurels, and that's when somebody comes that has that edge, that is working harder than them, that comes by and sails right by them.
Yeah, not to take that off of Tommy Brady, but the CEO of Fanatics actually put that together, and what a genius he's become as the official guy for the NFL, the NHL, the NBA. He owned part of the 76ers. He sold his stake in the 76ers because he has the largest database of what every one of us like, from hats to shirts to pants. And about 2 weeks ago, he bought a sports book for $150 million, and he will end up having one of the largest, biggest sports books in America, the CEO of Fanatics.
Wow.
That is an unbelievable story. And they have taken over everything. You can't buy any gear from any sport without It's Fanatics.
Yes.
Lids, all of that. It's all under the Fanatics umbrella.
Yes.
It's an amazing story.
We'll get to more amazing stories in the NFL, including maybe more players being looked at as far as gambling.
Yep, there's more
in the
J-Mos out there.
NFL. More players out there. We'll have that story coming up. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Means one thing: you have to call 1-800 stay out. That number again, 1-800
stay out.
Stay out of here. Stay out.
For them, it's like, you get out of here, you stay out.
Stay out of here.
That's for Jason, by the way.
Stay out of here. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Hump and Puck.
He shoots. He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Hump and Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Hump and Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Thanks to everybody who is in the chat right now. Let's see if we can get to over 150 likes. Let's go.
That's nothing.
No.
We can do that.
Yeah, we had a record. What did we have the other day?
Then we have 500?
600 likes. That was amazing. I love that stuff.
That was a big day.
I love it. That was a big day. Big day.
Really big.
Let's continue on.
You had the over 550 that day.
Right. Oh, man. Over under.
I said take the under.
I'm an over guy.
You got 150 likes you want. I'm taking the over. Let's go. Let's go.
It's always under until it's over.
Hey, Chad, tell everybody how I got you back on your game last night.
Yeah, so I come into town, for the week to work and spend time with everybody here. And so I'm talking to Ryan and Maz, and, we're in the back offices, and Maz is just like, go ahead and attack and put it all on the heat. So I'm just listening, just giggling, just laughing. No, I'm always going to fade Maz and Ryan. Knowing every time I'm going to fade Maz and Ryan. So everybody figure out what I did. I went heavy on the Celtics. Now, being a Boston kid probably didn't, hurt the reason why I go with the Celtics. But that being said, as soon as Maz said, throw the mortgage on the Miami Heat, I went Celtics, and did they not come through last night?
They sure did.
That is so funny. I wake up this morning and text with Chad's ticket, and he says, thanks, Maz.
And I wrote opposite.
Yeah, faded Maz. I love it.
Opposite.
I love it. Chad Johnson, our Woodward Sports owner, in the house with us today. Also owns Lady Jane's, owns Birmingham Roast. What a building we have here at the corner of 15 and Woodward. Come get a haircut, grab a sandwich and a coffee, and hell, come see us if you want.
Hang out with us.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate it. One of the most elite buildings in the Metro Detroit area to come do business. So we thank Chad for that. He's talking a little football with us, and we have to talk some gambling, Tom Mazawey.
We do. Hey, it all started with Calvin Ridley. They got a year suspension last year. You know the deal. He was at home nursing an injury. He decides to play around on his phone, put a bet in. Well, it cost him a whole year and a lot of money. Well, he's bounced back now, and Jameson Williams and a few other rookies decide, get on my phone and maybe bet a little college football. The problem was they happened to be on team property. We don't know where, but that's how they did it. So that's why Jameson Williams was suspended 6 games. Well, guess what? The NFL right now has another group of players they're looking at that have done the same thing that these kids have done.
I feel, terrible for Calvin Ridley. He lives in South Florida with me. He actually trains with the same trainer as my son Axel, Tony Sands. Tony Sands was the #1 running back coming out of the state of Florida 25, 30 years ago. He went to Kansas. He just actually made the Kansas Hall of Fame. Calvin was going through a lot of things, playing hurt through Jacksonville, went through some sadness, depression, just things go wrong for people sometimes and they make mistakes. But I can tell you that Calvin is one of the nicest, most humblest people that I've been around. Now, as far as gambling goes, I can tell you before gambling became big and the NFL started to back it, the NBA started to back it, they started to take the sponsors, different states started to specialize it. The players, if we went and talked to Calvin next week when he's here, or we call up Nate Burleson right now, 10 years ago, these guys were not gambling. They did not even know the lines. They didn't really understand an underdog from a favorite to anything. They knew nothing about gambling. And I would say over the last 4 or 5 years, when it's thrown in your face every single day, in commercials, in highlights, advertising on ESPN, the players started to, what is this? What is an underdog? What is +6? What does -7 mean? And just like anything, they used to play blackjack, they used to play craps, and they have an urge to win and be competitive. That's why you've seen a lot of players in the 80s and 90s lose the money that they've made, because they're always so used to competing and gambling in life, not necessarily on games. And so the players are definitely more around it. And I think that, they should explain the rules a bit more to the players. As far as J-Mo, I feel like something very innocent to what he did. He is able to gamble, but he wasn't able to gamble where he actually placed a bet on his phone, or he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But players that are betting on their team or betting on the NFL when you can't do it, I think that's why they got suspended for a full year. But definitely a tough situation, and players need to be advised a little bit more by their agents. And I always talk to the players in regards to the agents. The agents are there, to get them signed and, structure their deal and getting paid. And I just feel like these agents need to be much more involved than just getting them through the finish line and continuing to, feed them with major knowledge after they get them to the finish line, which is signed on an NFL team.
Hey, Chad, I think it was Charles Woodson. It was Charles Woodson who said, you know what? Let them all gamble. Don't gamble on your own team.
He said gamble on the NFL.
Gamble,
I don't have a problem
gamble on
with
the
it.
NFL. If you're sitting there at home watching the 8 o'clock game, why can't you gamble?
I would tell you this. At the end of the day, an ex-player, friends that I know, people I hang out with regularly, they have no better clue than Tom Mazawey knows who's going to win the game.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're a DB, a wideout, a running back, a linebacker. You don't know who's going to win that Sunday night game. If we did, or an ex-player did, or even an active player knew, they would know. Now, I even have NFL head coaches that I know in the National Football League. And we've spoke of gambling before. And one of the things was, Chad, how would you know? How would you know? And I'm like, Coach, we really wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know. A lot of times the bookies know. Even if you told me, Coach, that today I'm going to come out on this Sunday against A team versus B team, and I plan on eating up the clock, and I plan on running the ball 35 times today, and you even tried to give inside information to what could actually happen within that game. If a team returns a kick on you and then you throw a pick six and you're down 14-0, your whole game plan is out the window and you don't even have inside information anymore because of how you've got to even change all your play calling and how you're going to attack the rest of the game. So I would agree with, Charles in the fact that, the players should be able to bet on all sports as long as they're not betting on the game that they're involved in.
But what if they know the injuries, or if they know an inside thing? Hey, we're only going to play. Our quarterback's only going to play 2 quarters. Stuff like that. That's what they know.
That does happen because it is a fraternity in the league, meaning there's friends of friends on other teams and on other teams.
But in other sports too. I mean, we just saw all these Lions sitting front row at the Lakers game. You don't think they know everything going on in that Lakers game? So why can you bet on the Lakers game when you're sitting there talking to everybody before the game? You know what's happening.
It's
you
in
know
your
who's
face,
not
man.
hurt.
I think they're not friends with the refs when it comes to the NBA. You'd have to be friends with the refs if you're talking about the NBA.
Did you see that picture of that referee last
I did.
week?
When
Someone hit a free throw.
Jimmy Butler made a driving layup against the Celtics, and his visual was just like, oh, not again.
Yep.
I mean, it was tough to watch. Now, anything can look crazy in slow motion, right? But, yes, it was not a good look on the refs, especially when the NBA has already been proven to have refs that have shaved games.
Yeah.
D-Hop in the news, man.
Hey, yeah, that's right. He's looking for a team. Well, he's with the Cardinals right now. We're talking about a great receiver in D-Hop, but he's looking for a team. And then someone asked him, what do you want in a new team? He's like, well, I want steady management. I want a quarterback that really wants to get after it, and some more stuff. So he's really outspoken about what type of team he would go to. Here's a team in the Lions that are going to be a little short-handed for the first 6 weeks, and I know they drafted a great tight end at Sam Laporta, and he's going to be almost like a wide receiver. But what would make the Lions not want a guy like this on the cheap?
Money.
I would say that's the problem right there, Tom. He's not on the cheap. Hops is, I think, scheduled to make $18 to $19 million this year. So it's not like he's a free agent with no job that you could get him on the free. D-Hop is looking to make his $18, $19 million this year. I would say still a top 8 wideout in the league. Top 3 in hands for sure. And could he do a lot and change up what the Lions would be able to do offensively? Of course. Would he be a big help to our team? Of course. But I think it just really comes down to money, and you've already see our general manager isn't about to go after high price tag free agents.
Right.
He's building his team through the draft, and he's shown that his free agents are going to be $3 to $8 million guys, not $12 to $19 million guys.
$19.4 million. That's what Hopkins is due this season. One more break, and then I want to get into
streaming.
The article that Dan Wetzel wrote about streaming that I feel like we've been saying for a year plus, but now a national guy says it. So it must be true.
I don't know what you guys are going to get into and talk about streaming, but I did hear the NBA game in Game 1, maybe the Celtics Heat, the last 4 or 5, 6 minutes on YouTube.
9 minutes.
9 minutes just
Man.
completely went out.
Yep.
What are we doing if that's an NFL game during a regular season?
Exactly
That's
what
a
it's
great
about.
topic
That
to
is
talk
exactly
about.
what it's about. But first, a message from Randy Wise.
All right, let's go, golfers. How would you like to see some famous athletes out there like Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards? You can play with just you guys. That's us. You know us. The average Joe. Thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you're going to be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay attention to Woodward Sports. More information coming soon.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
I'm very passionate about this next topic because I do think there is trouble brewing when it comes to sports fans, sports leagues, and streaming sites. Look, the world is going streaming. Our show right now is streaming.
We're all for that.
We are at the tip. Well, look, we are at the tip of your fingertips, on your phone, in your car, at home on your couch, on your laptop. We are everywhere you are. But there is one thing that people do not like to stream: live sports. Dan Wetzel wrote a column on Yahoo. Yahoo.
That's a chocolate milkshake.
We used to play wiffle ball. The winner would get a Yahoo.
So it wasn't a column, it was a tweet. But so this River Avenue Blues wrote about this. You have to subscribe to 4 different services to watch the next 5 Yankee games. On Sunday, they're on Peacock. On Tuesday, they're on Yes. On Wednesday, they're on Amazon Prime. On Friday, they're on Apple TV Plus. So Wetzel says sports that aren't streaming sports that aren't on streaming are going to grow in popularity. Sports that aren't on streaming are going to grow in popularity. Streaming is lousy for fans for this kind of stuff. It requires too much effort. Some portion will look to something else. The NFL on Amazon Prime was a 41% drop last year, year over year. And for Thursday Night Football on Fox, 16.5 million. Thursday Night Football the next year on Amazon Prime, 9 million. That's nearly a 50% drop. That's over a 40% drop in viewership. The time it takes you to log into it, the time it takes you to see it buffer. If you're a gambler, you're going play by play. The game's already over. You haven't even seen the play yet. If you're trying to do that, if you're a degen like me, you want to go passing play or running play. No, but it's already over at that point. So I think leagues that go to streaming, and again, what did we? There was the was it the Black Friday game?
Yeah, Black game on Peacock.
One game, $110 million for Peacock. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. I don't like streaming sports on television, Chad.
Yeah, I would almost agree with you 100% on that one, Bud, because at the end of the day, we're leading sports in the state of Michigan because of streaming and our social and everything that we do, right? So we're wicked excited for the fans and the listeners and everybody that's helped us accomplish that. But also today, you could see even when we got our great friend Dapper on, who's ultimately the best play-by-play, NFL guy in the league. What happened? He froze out on us. We didn't expect it to happen. We didn't want to happen. I had another question for him, and next thing you know, we're scrambling because Dapper is frozen up there. The only thing I can say is I was happy that he was frozen with a nice big smile and he looked good and not one of those weird-looking faces, when he froze up. But I think it's a big thing. And then, the gambling betting part of it, I think these sports books are going to eat people's faces off because they're already going to know the result to the bets that they're going to keep up. And believe me, when you bet that they're going to get a first down or, the next play is going to be this or that, when they know that you're a loser, they're going to let that bet submit. So I hope there's not a lot of, dummy players out there that are going to be trying to bet if they're streaming because they tell me that it could be, 22 to 40 seconds behind the actual, time of the play.
Booner wrote in the chat, our guy here, says, I try and live bet events all the time, and I'm a minute behind. A minute plus behind.
I got my parents calling me up, too. Tom, Dad wants to watch the game. How do I get the game? What is it on? And, and I know it's the older generation that don't really know how to get this thing going. But you're going to lose. You're losing eyes. There's still eyes that are out there that don't know how to do this kind of thing. And that's what I hate the most about it.
Well, the one thing I've always thought is that, once COVID happened, what was the one league that powered through?
NFL.
And never missed one day. It was the NFL.
They played on a Wednesday.
What is the strongest league in the world? And it has been for the last couple of decades. But the NFL has only grown in popularity while the NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball have decreased in popularity. And I truly believe, whether it was the NBA, the NHL, or Major League Baseball, the time they took off from COVID, it allows people to do other things. We don't need you. And I think going to streaming sites and forcing people to pay for Prime, this for
Peacock,
and who knows, this for Apple.
Yeah.
I just think people don't need you anymore. They just don't need you.
Even if you went away from just streaming, it could be the less fortunate people that don't have internet. They don't have a powerful enough internet at their house. They're not even able to stream the game because of their internet connection. I don't know if you saw Sauce Gardner yesterday or the day before, just begging for somebody in his neighborhood, which is in a very fluent, amazing neighborhood, can't even get internet in his home. So I don't know what they're going to do except continue to take the money to the highest bidder and not worry about the fan and let the fan try to figure it out, because they're showing that they're about taking the money up front from the streaming platforms instead of worrying about us fans who have helped build the league with, buying tickets and watching it on TV for a long time.
No doubt, man. Hey, I just got another thing that I want to ask you, and it's off the streaming platform. It's kind of streaming, but it's Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee show, one of the most popular shows around. On YouTube, got a FanDuel deal for millions and millions of dollars, decides to go to ESPN. He was on College Game Day, and they probably promised him, look, we can do a lot more for you. So it turns out he's going to get the Max Kellerman spot on the dial. So it's going to be Get Up with Mike Greenberg, then it's going to be Pat, and then it's going to be Stephen A. Smith. And a lot of people are saying he's sold out and all. But ESPN on the other side of this, they're giving him all this stuff, all this money, and then they're firing so many people at the same time. And the ESPN family is in an uproar right now. They look behind their backs constantly. I've been reading so much about this. It's just what do you think about the whole Pat McAfee thing, Chad? Moving from YouTube, where he has his own thing to do, and he's got his own money, and he could say F you or whatever the hell he wants, to now go into a family network of ESPN.
I think it becomes, a lot of times, just in business and life, right? I don't think Pat made the decision just for himself. the guys that work on, his show with him, them getting more money, them getting a raise. Pat said himself, the eyeballs going through every airport now and him being played on in the airport. All of the, people that work at ESPN, all of the, digital people that can produce more content, graphics for them. Him being able to still make all his decisions, not change any of his creative, how he wants to run his show. He said pretty much the one rule that they've 86'd him on is he can't say the F-bomb. So besides them taking the F word away from him, he's been told that he's going to be able to produce and do his show the way that he wants to do, and I think he did it for money for his staff and his people, and I think he did it for more eyeballs to grow.
Without question. Chad, we love you. This is fun, man.
I appreciate you guys just letting me sit in and hang out with you guys and talk football. And, I really enjoyed it today, and I appreciate you guys just letting me jump in. I'm very thankful.
Before we let you go, hockey better at all? Do you have anything on the hockey game tonight for the audience? Carolina is desperate. They are an underdog here. I just see Florida minus 115. Florida minus 115 in a closeout game.
Listen to me. I'm going to help you. Listen to me. I have bet the Panthers. Have I not picked the Panthers to win the Stanley Cup?
You did.
Ryan? Take Carolina tonight.
You know what's
They are hungry. They are pissed. They're going to win this game.
Seems always every time you guys bring some up, I got a little bit of story. So you guys know I live in South Florida now, Fort Lauderdale. The Florida Panthers is our local hometown team. About 3 months ago, the Florida Panthers reach out to, my team at Lady Jane's and want to name the arena the Lady Jane's, arena for the Florida Panthers. Now, we only have maybe 10 stores down in Florida, so it was an opportunity that we passed on. They were willing to go down to a 5-year deal, which usually if you do, stadium rights, it's a 10 to 20-year deal. But my son's become a big, huge Florida Panthers fan, so I'd like to see the Panthers win tonight and get some rest and, try to win a Stanley Cup when they really weren't expected to, go through much. They went through the Boston Bruins, who were the #1 team in hockey, and then they went up into Canada and ripped out Toronto's hearts, and now they're just beating Carolina down like a hurricane, a real one, and so
they can't score against them.
They can't score, so I would say, if anything, even though I don't bet hockey, take the under.
Last thing, I lied. Last thing I want. Are the Celtics going to come back and win this series?
I would say right now the Celtics are going to be a tough beat because they got 2 of the next 3 games at home. They are already 8-point favorites on tomorrow night's game. They go back to Miami, and that'll probably be real close to, the Celtics probably 3.5 point favorite. And I don't know. It's tough to really bet against Jimmy Butler, too, though. He's got to be one of my top 5 players in the league right now. And if I have a team, I want Jimmy Butler on my team.
Me
I
too.
ain't going to lie.
Me too.
But the Celtics going to be a tough out, and they look like they were going to get knocked out in that first half. Believe me, I was like, I should have went with Maz. And then in the second half, the Celtics just came through, and you see Tatum hit those 3 threes in a row to go down to 11, down to 2 in like 42 seconds. It was like, let's go Celtics.
You were like, thank you, Tom Mazawey. Fading Maz. Chad, we love you, man.
I appreciate
Thanks for letting us do what we do.
They don't call me mush for nothing.
That's right. JB, love you. Heart and soul of the show over here. Parker's learning over here as well. We've got Mike Gentry in the audio booth. Tom Mazawey, my guy, my ride or die. Love you, Tom.
You,
great stuff. And Chad Johnson, the great owner, great friend as well, one of the best guys you will ever meet. Glad to have him on the show and introduce you to him as well. Our
Thanks for lunch
here
today, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Tacos were great.
They were phenomenal.
All right, we're going to get out of here. We will see you tomorrow. Stay tuned to the Woodward social channels as well for clips throughout the show. And, of course, heavyweights 5 to 7 tonight.
Spenny with his new ride.
Tell a friend about Woodward Sports.